In challenging times, we may leave familiar places for the unknown, feeling abandoned, but even if others leave us, God remains with us. About 2,600 years back, a young Jewish man named Daniel was captured during the Babylonian Empire's invasion. Yet he defied the odds with a special destiny ordained by God. Today, we're diving into the captivating story of Daniel, where the miraculous power of God leaves even the most skeptical in awe. God's magnificent power shines through remarkable rescues and uncanny foresight, revealing his sovereignty over humanity's past, present, and future. Truly, he reigns supreme with an eternal kingdom. Daniel, a renowned Jewish prophet, lived during the 7th and 6th centuries BCE in Judah, the kingdom of Jerusalem and the Jewish temple, with his name meaning God is my judge. At 17, a Hebrew teen from a noble family experienced a dramatic shift when captured and taken to Babylon under King Nebuchadnezzar's reign after Jerusalem fell. In the 3rd year of Jehoiakim's reign over Judah, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon besieged Jerusalem, and Jehoiakim was handed over to him by the Lord. The text sets us in the 3rd year of this historical era. Joachim, the eldest son of the godly King Josiah, brought a stark contrast to his father's spiritual leadership, being unfaithful during his reign over Judah. He vehemently scorned the prophets who tried to counsel him. The king disregarded God's words, burning the scroll containing Jeremiah's prophecies, leading Judah astray without fear of consequence. Nebuchadnezzar's reign saw Jerusalem's downfall and capture, prompted by his response to Egypt's invasion of Babylon. The young prince Nebuchadnezzar conquered the Egyptians at Kish and subsequently subdued Jerusalem while pursuing the escaping army to Si. This happened in 605. This date holds significance for 2 reasons. It marks the initial capture of Daniel and his companions, and also signifies the beginning of the 70 years of Jewish exile. God utilized the wicked to fulfill Jeremiah's prophecy. The Babylonians served as a means of punishment for Israel, and let's keep reading from verse 3 to 7, where the king instructed Ashpenaz, the chief of his officials, "Select boys from the royal lineage of Israel without any physical imperfections, possessing good looks, skilled in wisdom, knowledgeable, understanding, and qualified to teach in the king's palace." The king assigned daily provisions from his own food and wine for 3 years to Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Their names were changed by the chief official, Daniel to Belteshazzar, Hananiah to Shadrach, Mishael to Meshach, and Azariah to Abednego. Daniel and his friends were selected as prophesied in Isaiah 39:7. Some of your offspring will be taken. Those who are exiled will be transformed into royal servants in the king's palace. In Babylon, Daniel and his friends may have been made servants under Ashpenaz, a common practice to ensure focus on studies and tasks. This deprived them of familial joys, dedicating their lives solely to the conquering king's service, a significant humiliation in ancient times. Daniel and his friends underwent rigorous training in Babylonian education for 3 years, learning language, letters, and various subjects like mathematics, law, and religion. The program aimed to groom them into efficient officials for Nebuchadnezzar's administration. They were ready to live faithfully and serve in the king's presence according to their religion. Babylonian youths, amid a diverse empire, faced constant surveillance and limiting resistance. In Daniel chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar couldn't sleep due to nightmares. Seeking answers, he turned to his magicians, astrologers, and fortune tellers. Nebuchadnezzar got furious when his wise men couldn't help him, so he ordered their execution. Surprisingly, Daniel and his friends were also counted among them. Daniel discovered that he and his companions faced death. He joined Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in seeking God's intervention to overcome the perilous situation. With divine intervention, God reveals the dream's meaning to Daniel, enabling him to stand before the king and interpret it accurately. this showcasing God's guidance in Daniel's fate. Thus, with God's help, Daniel interpreted his dreams in a meaningful way, and thus not only saved his life, but also became the protector of his friends' lives. After Daniel told this interpretation, Nebuchadnezzar gave him a great position in his court. It all happened to God that a young boy who was taken as a prisoner and brought as a slave was given to him by the enemy king, who had destroyed the country, and was awarded a great position. The position given to Daniel by Nebuchadnezzar was great for Daniel's age, making him the leader and chief of all the wise men of the government. This was undoubtedly God's reward for his faithfulness. The initial chapters of Daniel recount Nebuchadnezzar's reign, the peak of Babylon's power. According to the book of Daniel, after this, the internal affairs of the government became weak due to mutual resentment among the sons of Nebuchadnezzar, and conflicts arose within the country. Meanwhile, the Persian king Darius came to the border of Babylon with the intention of conquering Babylon. Daniel chapter 5 describes the night before Darius entered the country. The present king of Babylon, who used in his palace the vessels used in the temple of Jehovah, which had been plundered from that temple at the fall of Jerusalem. What happened one day was that a hand appeared on the wall, and the hand wrote something on the wall, which made the king panic, and he called his magicians and fortune tellers. Not even a magician could decipher the meaning of the writing written by the hand that appeared on the wall. So then the current king had to call Daniel and his companions after 70 years had passed in Babylon. At that time, most people in Babylon had forgotten Daniel, but he was called on the recommendation of the queen. Daniel read the writing on the wall that said, "Keep your gifts to yourselves and give your rewards to others." The king wanted Daniel to interpret this writing, but Daniel strictly forbade him because Daniel knew that his government is about to be overthrown. Then what was predicted happened. Darius conquered Babylon and made Daniel his special advisor. During the reign of Darius the Mede, as recounted in Daniel chapter 6, Daniel faced opposition from jealous officials who conspired against him because of his favor with the king. They convinced Darius to issue a decree forbidding prayer to any god or man except the king himself. Despite the decree, Daniel continued to pray to his God 3 times a day, and as a result, he was thrown into a den of lions. However, according to the biblical account, God protected Daniel, and he emerged unharmed from the den the next morning. Darius, who had great respect for Daniel, was overjoyed to find him alive, and subsequently issued a decree praising the God of Daniel throughout the kingdom. These events showcases Daniel's unwavering faith and his commitment to obeying God rather than human authority, even in the face of grave danger. These also demonstrate God's faithfulness in delivering those who trust in him.
If you found this video enjoyable, please consider liking and sharing it. Additionally, subscribing to this channel will ensure that you receive more updates in the future. Thank you.